Okay. It's about to not get sexy as we talk about the least sexy thing, menstruation.
What a female body can do.
Actually, we can do nothing that is unsexy. I'm convinced. So, menstruation has actually been a hot topic regarding the female body for years, as it's the onset and signifying factor that a body is ripe for child rearing. Childbearing? Child rearing. All of it. It happens during menstruation. People have a lot to say about our coochies. Why? In this episode, we will be educating and debunking some common myths regarding our periods, as well as find a way to celebrate the wonders of our bodies. Whether you call it menstruation or a period, your relationship and your surroundings have everything to do with its occurrence. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
All right. Well, you're about to learn on this episode of Always in Bloom. My name is Muyi Ali.
I am Grace Annette.
And let's get into it.
Let's do this.
AIB is a safe space for us ladies and theydies to discuss our bodies, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. We're offering insights, sharing stories, laughing, supporting, and unlocking our divinity together. There's no greater power than that of the flower that is always in bloom. So let's get into it. What is menstruation? Menstruation is the process of a woman discharging blood and other materials from the lining of her uterus at intervals of about 1 lunar month. That's like 27 to 30 days?
Yeah, just
something
about.
like that. So from puberty all the way into menopause, except during pregnancy.
Ooh.
The reason this exists is so that our bodies are preparing for pregnancy.
Every single month.
Right.
Every single month.
An egg is released, goes down the fallopian tube, sits there in the uterus, and then waits to be fertilized. And if it is not fertilized, our uterus will swell and release its entire lining along with the egg.
She rampages. Our body gets mad at us every month that we are not pregnant.
Okay. So Grace,
wild.
I actually did a short film about this.
Oh my God, yes,
about
you
getting
did.
my first period, but I'll let you tell your story first. What was your first period like? I feel like everyone's is something that they remember, or sometimes it's not, but like when it's something you remember, it's because something happened. So tell us about your first period.
So my first period was like shortly after my 12th birthday. Oh. Yes, I remember it like so vividly. It's actually kind of insane. So I remember that my stomach was just like, now I know it was cramps, but at the time I was like, I gotta poop. It's all connected. We know that.
That's so funny because a lot of people don't get cramps for their first period. Like they don't have cramps. Their periods are not even regular, but that's very interesting.
I had cramps, but I thought I just had to poop, like TBH. So I was like, oh, I gotta go poop. So I went to the bathroom and I'm just like sitting there, da-da-da. And I don't know what I was doing, but I just like, I just like pulled my pants down and like didn't look down. Like I just pulled my pants down and went to go do what I needed to do. And I wasn't doing what I needed to do. And then I literally looked down and I'm like, bro, there's mad blood everywhere.
No, wait, you didn't know? You didn't know what was going to happen?
Did not know. Did not. I was like, what is going on? And then I knew that it was a period because I was very well informed. I had been through like sex ed at that point. And my mom obviously had the conversation with me. So I literally start screaming and I'm like, there's blood. And mom was like, what's going on?
Were you not paying attention in sex ed? I'm just confused why you were so confused.
Well, I was so confused because like, I thought I was going to poop. So like, it was just like, at no point.
I was set up to poop.
I was set up to poop and I became a woman instead. And that's literally why I was just like, what is going on? So like, there's so much blood. And my mom's like, what's going on? And I was like, I'm a woman now. And then like, I literally ran out. My dad was like on the same floor. I literally ran out with my pants and my panties like by my knees, and I'm literally just like, look at all the blood that fell out of my vagina.
Okay.
Yay.
This is so dramatic. Are you an only child?
No, but I'm the only female. Like,
so you were like, this is my show.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
y'all are gonna remember this moment as I am.
All good. It was like literally a week after my 12th birthday. Like my birthday is July 2nd. I literally think it was like July 15th.
Wow.
Blood. Whoosh, gush. So I literally walked out and my dad, my mom was there. I'm pretty sure my brother was there also. And my mom was just like, all right, well, give me all your clothes. I gotta go wash. Like she just went into like mom mode and was just like, yay. But like, we got to wash your clothes now. Like, you're just running around with blood everywhere. Like, can you
I love that.
Get it together? I like hopped in the shower,
Clean it up.
and then real quick after the, oh my God, I'm a woman. Like, I was like, ow, this hurts. Oh,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel. And like, literally that, like,
Yeah.
I literally just started sinking immediately. Got like a hot pack.
Would you say like your first time was like excitement?
Yeah, I was excited. I was really excited because, like, growing up, I never like lived in the moment. I was very ready to be an adult. So I was like, I'm a woman. I can sit at the adult table now.
Wow.
Obviously, that means like literally nothing changed in my life after that. It was just, now I bleed once a month. But I was like, I was real like, I'm here.
Right.
Like, this is me.
That's
woman
beautiful. I'm
now.
happy that happened for you, but I'm happiest because it happened in your house. Okay. My period, at the time, I think I had 4 sisters at the time. I'm one of 8, 6 of which are sisters. Yeah, 6 of which are sisters. And I got my period, I think I was like 10 or even younger, maybe 9. Like, I got it earlier than everybody else. So it's like they were little speaks of what was going to happen, you know? But I was just like, all right, well, my oldest sister's going to get it first because that's the way that bodies work. Yeah. But that was me learning that all bodies are different very clearly, because I was at my dad's store. We own this like African cultural shop in Livingston Mall. And I was just like, oh God, my stomach hurts. Let me go to the bathroom. And I was like, what's this now? Oh. What's happening? It was like a stain in my drawers. Yeah. So then I went to like tell my stepmom. I was like, just tap her like, hey, you remember that talk we had? It's happening. I don't know what to do. Aww. And then she was just like, oh my God. She was so excited for me. And I was just like, what is happening?
Over what? Well, like, you were 8 or 9, so that's a little bit more jarring at that age.
Girl, I felt so ostracized. Like, I felt super alone. Like, my sisters were, like, talking about it. And then I remember specifically being in, like, the hallway of, like, behind the mall, but still inside, just crying in a corner in pain, like, doubled over. It was super dramatic. Oh, it was very dramatic. And then my stepmom drove me home. Like, it was like, all right, the day's cut short. You're not working today. Like, go home. So she drove me home and then had to talk with me and just let me know, like, you're going to have to buy these things and da-da-da. Everyone was super excited because the next day when I went into the store, my auntie, you know, like the black auntie, so it's like, you're not related by blood, but you related. Yeah. And she was from Nigeria and she was like, you're a woman now. And I was just like, what? No. What are you saying to me? Oh my God. It was very overwhelming because I was just playing like blocks, you know, or playing video game, reading. I was doing something like very childlike, and it was like, no, you're not only not a child, you're not even a girl, you're a woman. Like, it's happened to you. It was very abrasive, I feel.
So quick, just for clarity. So by the time when you had first gotten your period, not even your oldest sister had gotten her period?
No, not trying to shout her out, but I was first.
She beat you. Like,
nah. And then I was also like, I came from a, like, you know, big boned, thicker family. You know, the South, we out here. So I was out here, like growing quicker. I remember going to the doctor and they were just like, okay, so that's normal that you're going to get bustier now. You're going to create more curves because of the onset of your period. Yeah. And so I took it as like, I'm going to be fat. That's what you're going to tell me. I am going to be fat and bleeding? Absolutely not. I can't deal with it. So it was a little tough.
That's incredibly interesting that was like where your brain went, like, yeah, so early on, yeah, as well. Like,
well, I was also, even though like everyone is super social media now, like I was also still like a media baby. Like, I love TV, I love like information, and during this time, like, it wasn't necessarily the 90s, but the early 2000s, like, it was a thing to be skinny. Like,
that was a very Kate Moss era, like very like that was the model. Even
like, that episode of what is that show? Lizzie McGuire, Miranda. She was anorexic. Oh, yes. Okay, or bulimic. She was something. Yeah, that was crazy. And I was like, oh my God. So we have, like, skinniness is something that we have to quest for. Yeah. Like, it was enough that, like, I had to be black, you know, like, and not see myself on there. But I also had to be skinny. Yeah. I'm like 10 years old and fat and bleeding.
Oh my God.
It's just too much. There's just too much. So that's what I remember about menstruation, and I just did not like it. Like every month I would just pretend and pray it away. Like I'd be like, okay, we are not going to have this month, and I'm going to be thin. So I thought like to combat that, I would just like not eat.
Oh.
You know, that's a separate story.
You know, layered, definitely layered, but
body image issues, 100%. Separate issues. But yes, menstruation.
Yeah.
When that happened, I was just like, okay, I'm a woman now. Like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
You know? So that was my relationship then.
Because literally nothing, like when you think about it, nothing changes other than the fact that now you bleed once a month. Now you have to, like, there's this extra product that you have to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta buy extra underwear.
I mean, it's, yeah, I guess. But like at that age, like your body is like physically releasing things. It's releasing estrogen. It's releasing progesterone. And like there's stuff that you did not have. Like, not that you didn't have, but they were like dormant. They were chilling. You were a kid. You could run around and not stink. Dog.
What?
Dog. I remember being in class, and then my friend came up to me. He's like, "Hey, Muyi, something stinks, and I think it's you." I was like, "We need deodorant, Teen Spirit, right now."
Nah, I didn't realize that like pubescent smell, that puberty smell.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize how intense it was until I finally walked back into like a school after I graduated and I had been past the pubescent period of my life. Oh my God, it reeks. It literally just smells like hormone. It smells like Teen Spirit. That's a real thing. I didn't like. I thought it was a song.
Smell like flowers instead.
Literally, it smells like Axe.
Yeah. Oh God.
Flowery, powdery products and hormones, just raging hormones. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Okay. That was my period story.
Clearly very different stories, but what is your relationship with your period now?
My relationship with my period now. I mean, I get it. I get my period and I respect it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm finding ways to like love it a little bit more and love my body a little bit more. I've created this journal that I use, and every time my period comes, I could just use like an app or something, but I just write it down, obviously, to track my period, but also what's happening during my period. Because it's always, every time my period's about to come, I hear myself being like, what if I just run away right now? What if no one can find me? And I'm like, oh, my period's coming.
That literally very accurately describes her. She wanted to do the wildest things like days before her period. And then it comes and she's just like, well, I was very justified in everything that I wanted to. Like,
absolutely. It's not like those feelings weren't legit.
No.
But yeah, I definitely feel all of the emotional shifts, but don't recognize it until like I start bleeding. That's for me personally. What about you? What's your relationship?
So very early on, I realized that I did not want to do this on a monthly basis. It's a lot. So I started birth control. I got my period at 12. I probably started birth control like at 16, 17. And it was purely for, not purely for it, but like I was sexually active. But I also just did not want to get a period monthly. So I made sure to like have the birth control options that like did not let me have a monthly period. So I currently have an IUD and we're just solidly blood free for the most part.
Okay, but that gets rid of the blood part.
Yes.
Okay. It does stop the release of progesterone so that your body thinks that it's getting pregnant. So it just doesn't turn on the waterworks, the blood flow.
So thicken up your uterine lining.
So do you actually have that emotional shift monthly, do you believe?
Yeah, I do. So I get like a little bit of a emotional shift on a monthly basis, and I'll get like a little sort, like I feel myself when I'm like ovulating, like I get real hot, like it's just, and you know, titties look real good and all that other stuff, like so like that's still like I feel my body happening, and I feel the emotional changes during that, and then it kind of just like I'll get like a tired for like a day or two, and then maybe possibly discharge, and then like that's kind of like the extent of my like period cycle.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I respect and honor that you go off, but here's a hot take.
Oop.
I think that you need your period every month.
Oh, that's too much.
It is a lot.
All 12 months of the year?
Yeah. There's actually a lot of science behind it, that the whole purpose of your menstrual cycle is to prepare your uterus for pregnancy. So you're like ovulating, and if you do not intend on becoming pregnant, there's like no health reason for you to actually have your menstrual period. That's what they be saying. That's what the doctors say. Yep. But what about what I say? What about Muyi?
What you feel?
The unlicensed doctor that says, hey, if my body does this naturally, why I'm gonna stop it? Why I'm gonna stop it? Because it's awful and terrible. I have to live in misery.
Nope. Okay. Whole other topic also. Okay. Whole other episode. But I think that's a very interesting take because I agree with you to the extent of where like I'm not doing it. But like I completely agree with you in the sense where yes, like I understand it being like a natural process of your body. And I do think there is a power in like if you are somebody who bleeds that doesn't cause you like any extra health conditions or whatever the case may be, any extra health problems, and you can have a relatively comfortable period monthly. Like, I think there's a power in that because that's, you know, your body doing its natural thing.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, not every woman or person who bleeds has that experience. Like, you know, there's some people whose cramps are ridiculous, like literally doubled over. There's some people whose PMS, like, they literally cannot make a rational decision because their hormones are just, like, all over the place. You know, their food intake, like, their appetite changes, all of that stuff changes. So I definitely think it's, like, to a person-to-person basis. Like, my period wasn't anything, like, I didn't stop it because, like, oh, my cramps are extra hard or any of the other reasons that I said. It was literally just because, like, I kept ruining my panties and I couldn't keep, like, a cycle of anything. And even, like, I went through several birth controls before I landed on an IUD because I was like, oh, yeah, like, I could take a pill every day. I cannot. I tried the NuvaRing. Also, it was just, like, not a thing that worked for me. So I was like, IUD, just, like, pop it in there. I don't want to think about it for several years, and I don't have to do anything. Very low maintenance. Absolutely love it. But again, like I said, like that's my experience. And,
and that's a whole nother episode in itself, talking about like birth control, because there are so many options. And as a person who has researched, who has experienced so many different kinds, they're all awful. There's no way to be happy on birth control. That is what I'm convinced of. It is so crazy. But I do know a lot of people who use birth control to kind of control their period.
Yeah, and actually regulate it.
Yeah,
or even induce it. There's many women who have started birth control just to solely induce having a period because they haven't started it on their own naturally.
I think we had an episode with Nicole Pasoda, Dr. Nicole Pasoda, and she really made it a point to say that every body is different, every single body. So if you want to go out of your way to find what works for your body, it's going to take time learning your body.
100%.
And I'm not saying that I know my body at all. Just so you know, I don't know if I know my body, because my whole theory is I am strong. I am Capricorn. And if I tell myself I don't want to ruin my panties, it'll end my period. I won't take any birth control. I'll just be like, why would my body do that to my panties that I spent money on? That's my thought process. And it's totally ridiculous and super messy every time. But I think it's going to work every time.
That's delusional is a strong word.
Okay.
Right? Right?
That is heavy. That's heavy and a little
because
offensive.
Mind is definitely over matter. And I think that the mind is an incredibly strong thing. Strong enough to stop a period.
You're really talking to a Capricorn right now.
Don't know.
All I heard was mind is an incredibly powerful thing. Yes, it
all
is.
All she heard was if she thinks about it harder, it'll stop. Like that's all she heard. It won't get messy at all.
Literally, that is my thought process. That's my thoughts on your period. I really feel that if it's something that happens naturally, then I should keep doing it, even if it's awful every single time. But I have changed my diet because in 2012, I was diagnosed with PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder. I think that's what it's called. And it basically is the same thing as PMS, but extremely worse.
PMS, extreme.
Literally extreme. I was literally put in the hospital 3 separate times because of the pain that I felt. I would literally come home from school, if I made it all the way through the day of school, and just pass out.
Oh my God.
Like, I would be like, okay, this is the same pain that I get every month. So I would literally have to wait until I passed out so that I'd come to and it'd be over. Like, my body would shut down because I was in so much pain. So when I say that it's like PMS times a billion, like PMS, they're the regular symptoms of like, okay, I get a headache, I'm super fatigued, I have cramping, I'm emotionally messed up, emotionally distressed. But yeah, so it's all of those symptoms to the extreme. So I remember this one specific time I came home from school and my brother had a friend over and he was in the bathroom, doing the poop thing. He was pooping in the bathroom, and his stomach was messed up. But I was like, I don't care. His stomach's messed up, whatever. But I was like, Adam, please. That's my brother's name, Adam. So I was like, Adam, please, just tell him to get out of the bathroom. Like, I was just weak. And I thought that I had to poop. That's what I thought was happening. And then he finally took forever. But he thought it was a joke, so he was coming out super slowly. And I was just like, move! You know that scene in White Chicks when the guy just knocks her out? Move, bitch! That was me trying to get to the bathroom.
Full on tackle.
So I'm in there in the bathroom, and I'm just like, okay, all right, well, you just do it. Just get out of it, get the poop out. And my legs start getting weak, and I was like, okay, oh yeah, I just probably don't have to poop, whatever. Wash my hands, and I was like, okay, well, you just get to your room to go lay down. And then I get up, wash my hands, do the bathroom thing. Please wash your hands. COVID is real. And I walk to the bathroom I walk to my bedroom and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. So I see a plastic bag on the floor. So what I do, this is actually a little dramatic, so I shouldn't have done this. Do not advise this at all. But I'm like, okay, you're going to pass out soon. So I pass out onto the plastic bag so that I would asphyxiate myself. Like, I would be suffocating so that I would shock my body into waking back up. So that was my thought process. And that's exactly what happened. I got up and then I just called my grandmother and was like, Grandma, please, Lord, just come get me right now. And then I just wait. I just wait on my bed for her to come get me and come save my life. So that's how extreme my periods were. That's how crazy that it would get. That I'd be like, okay, I have to figure out how to handle this. So that was the last time I did that was in high school. And I was just like, okay, I'm either going to have to get on birth control or something's got to give. But I did get on birth control and it helped a lot. But my relationship had changed a lot, but I had to change my whole diet, change my exercise. I had to change exactly how I navigate the world in order to make sure my period wouldn't be as extreme because of my body chemistry makeup.
That is intense.
That was so intense.
It really
is a lot of story.
It was a lot of story, but I think it's incredibly important because you didn't give up. You've tried several things in your journey and are continuously trying several things in your journey to make your period something that is manageable. Mm-hmm. And I think your story and many stories are important to tell like that because there are so many girls who are probably come home from school, are in so much pain, and because we're told cramps hurt, you're gonna feel tired, you're just oh yeah, this is normal, they already told me that it was gonna hurt, they already told me I was gonna be tired, they already told me that I was gonna feel a little bit depressed, they already told me that my appetite was gonna change, and you continue to live like this, and it's your normal when it's not,
right?
You have options if you can find the proper channels and support to be able to find the journey in which you're going to make your period something that's manageable for you. And that's crazy because a lot of people just go straight to medicine. You could have easily been hopped up on
there were very many options.
Literally there's probably a bunch of medicine there's probably a bunch of pills for all the stuff that it is that you are going through, and you chose to not do that.
What is it called with the M? Medinol? What is it?
Midol? Yes.
yes.
There's Midol. There's people who take, a bunch of just Tylenol, Aleve, hot packs.
Tylenols are crazy on your liver, and that's just like the answer, you know? Like, it's just like, oh, you're in pain? Why don't you get in pain like in a different way later down the line? That's what I feel Tylenol is doing.
Absolutely insane. The most that I've used is like a CBD cream when I get my cramps.
Oh my gosh, shout out to the legalization, okay?
Freaking love that CBD cream. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. That's a whole nother episode again. But please legalize weed. THC, CBD, like, it is so medicinal and so natural and so beautiful. Shout outs.
Oh dear.
Shout outs to the chronic.
Your journey is going to be different. And it's about figuring out, like, what it is that your body does. And then just trying to figure out a way to better that journey for yourself.
Yeah.
So like you said, so you changed your diet. So what made you... Like, did you do research first? And we're like, oh, you saw that somewhere there was like, oh, if you change your diet, like, you might be able to affect your period? Or was it just like you were already changing your diet and then like it was a secondary?
I think that I grew up in a very like naturalist type family. So exactly right. So I was just like, drugs are not an option. Don't do it. Even now, I don't do drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. But yeah, so I knew that like I wasn't going to sit here every time I was in pain and have Advil or Tylenol or have the drugs that we mentioned earlier. So I was like, okay, but like birth control, everybody's doing it. Why, I'm in so much pain, dog. Like, if I'm not going to take a Tylenol, why don't I take something that's specifically for this? Yeah. So I had so many different types of birth control first, and I didn't like the adverse effects that those had. So I think I saw somewhere about changing your diet, because I am a strong believer that it starts like within. Like, if whatever you're eating, it shows up later. Like, drink a lot of water, exercise, like do everything that you can that is positive for your body, that gets it prepped for living life. Yeah. So yeah, I was out here changing my diet, like not eating as much meat. And then there was issues with that. But I think I'm in a really great place now. I still am surprised every time my period comes. You know, like, I'm like, what if I don't want it to come right now and ruin these Savage Fenty draws? Oh. And then they'll show up anyway. And I'm just like, Moogie, get a panty liner. Them things itch. I hate it. So I'm actually curious what your your ideal period product is, because there are so many different period products.
So because of my complicated, I have a period, but I don't really have a period, and I discharge, and like once every 3 months I might get like a spot of blood type of situation. I'm very ill prepared all the time. Like, whenever
there's no way to like, I guess there's no way to track it, like an app.
Yeah, literally, because like I tried tracking it once to see if like, oh, maybe like, you know, I got the same symptoms around the same, but it's not. Like, there's really no.
That's not a thing.
So my personal solution is black underwear at all times.
Okay.
Number one.
Sexy.
Super sexy. Exactly. And they'll be cute underwear, but like it's usually black most of the time. And then once I realize that like I'm spotting, discharging, or whatever the case may be, leaking, I will go for a panty liner. Real simple. I prefer the wingless panty liners.
What? You
go into it.
You a boss.
I'm a wingless girl, but I like them long. Privileged. I like the long ones, but I like the wingless ones. And if they have wings, I just like fold them in, and then I.
You're so gutsy. I mean, I know that your period is like sporadic, like it only comes sometimes. But if I dared offend myself and offend my draws by putting on a pad, already knowing it's gonna be uncomfortable and awful, and doing it wingless. Oh. It gonna leak to the sides just cause. My coochie gonna turn to the side. Let me go to the side of these drawers and just mess everything up. That's what's going to happen. That's tough. So not to get all in your coochie, but that's kind of what we do here. When you do spot,
yes,
is it equivalent to a period but just shorter, or is it like less blood at the same length of a full period?
So it's not actually like any blood. Like, it's literally just like that brownish, like clearish discharge. And it'll literally just be like for a day or two tops, and like one day it'll be like a little bit heavier than the other one. But that's literally it.
That's so beautiful. I just love the vagina, the uterus, the womb. That's amazing, because the body is still cleaning itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait until we do our episode on like traditional yoni practices, because there are so many ways to like care for your body and it all affects your womb and affects your uterus. First thing that I will say, maybe in every episode, see how many times I say it, do not douche, ever.
Yeah.
The vagina cleans itself. The vagina cleans itself. The vagina cleans itself. But
I
yes.
definitely believe that. My girl, she be doing
Yes,
what she needs to
shout
do.
out to the discharge. Woot, woot.
Literally.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing that even though you are on birth control, there are ways to see that your body is still working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, like I definitely feel myself like ovulating like I get like those 3-4 days where your girl's is hot. It's like all around. Like everything is just oop, my skin's looking extra good. The titties are doing whatever they gotta do. So I'm like, I know that I'm ovulating. Like I feel it within myself. But I just know that like I'm I might end up spotting or discharging or whatever the case may be after that, or I may not. But.
Word up. Okay. My I don't think you answered my question. Oh right, yeah. You said your is a panty liner without wings.
Yeah. What is your personal preference? Because I know you've gone through a couple things also, like your journey.
Gosh.
Like I have not varied from either like a panty liner, a pad, or a tampon. Like I have not.
You've never had a tampon before?
No, I've had a tampon before, but those are the only 3 things that I do.
Okay.
And like not the tiny. There's a.
What
she's I don't know how like it's I don't be like she's big because like that like what does that mean, like what is a big vagina, like
big
what is a big
pussy energy,
big lips, like you know what I'm saying, like it's not that,
right.
But like I'm tall and she's long.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna. I can't describe it any better than that. So like the long, everything is like better for me long. Like I like the wingless stuff, but I like it long. So like my panty liner, I like the long one.
Yeah.
I like the overnight pad.
Okay.
When I was like heavily bleeding. I did at some point, like my period used to be pretty heavy, and I was using like adult depend diapers to go to sleep.
Wow, I've heard that people after pregnancy will use like the diapers for their period instead of like pads and things like that.
Yeah. For me, it was like at night because like I bled a lot heavier at night. And your girl, I would literally like attach 2 overnight pads like back to back. But then the same thing would happen to I would like leak from the side and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then I tried to start sleeping with like a freaking, like it's like a pee pad thing, and then
right.
the pee pad got like intense. So my mom was like, "We're just gonna get you the adult diapers," and it was like a bit of a like an embarrassing moment. Like the first time, I was like, "I'm literally putting on diapers to go to sleep," but it's actually incredibly comfortable, and it's like I said, like you guys gotta just try it out and just be comfortable and know that it is going to be a journey, because in the future, when I bleed heavily again, if I do so when I take this IUD out, I will be the first one to go get the pens, because it's actually very comfortable to sleep in, like incredibly comfortable to sleep in. And you wake up knowing that you didn't ruin your sheets, you didn't ruin a pair of panties, no nothing. Like you just.
I'm just so happy. Like as you're talking, I'm just so happy that we're doing this podcast.
Oh, so
because like I know we're gonna get into it as a sprout, but like my younger self, like our periods are so taboo. Like it's not things that we get to talk about. So we're kind of figuring out and navigating these things together. And thankfully I had my grandmother, and she's super, super amazing. But she's also old school and from the South. Like it was not something that we talked about. And at the end of the day, like she was out here wrapping up towels to like walk around with her period.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Grandma, are you sure this is supposed to be so miserable? And then she was like, you
got to use towel. Like she got to, it. They gave you towels to use?
Oh, no.
Okay,
she knows what a pad is. Okay.
Good.
But yeah, like that's how she would navigate her period. Like it was something that you just had to get through. Yeah. And then she told me, all right, I'm atting you right now, Wheeze, that she told me that like her periods were just as bad as mine in her youth, but they went away after she had her baby. And I was like, so that's the answer? That's what I have to give birth and have even more responsibility?
No, that's wild. There's no way that's the answer.
I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Just completely change your diet, lifestyle, and everything else you do instead.
No, please, no. But yeah, you asked me. I'm just really happy that we are doing this podcast. But you did ask me my ideal period product, because I've been through it. I've been through a bunch of period products.
Well, just give us like a quick synopsis of like the history of your period products.
My period products. Yes, of course. I started with pads because in my youth, I was like, why would I stick something up there? This thing didn't even exist. I was a child, like it wasn't something that was, it just, it just had it. And so, yeah, I started with pads, and then I would just be bleeding super heavily and ruin my jeans. Like, if you're soaking through your jeans, go home. Just go home and figure it out and readjust. Because I just did not know how to manage it. I remember the first day, this is kind of late in the game, but the first day of high school, I was in AP Bio. And I was sitting in class.
She's smart.
Yeah, hello. The first day of high school, I was sitting, and I was like, oh my God, I just got my period. And I think I'm bleeding through. So, like, I wait for the entire class to leave. And then the professor asked me, or the teacher asked me, like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just wanted to finish up writing something. I'm just out here doodling. And they're like, okay, well, I have to go to another classroom, da-da-da. I was like, okay, cool. When I tell you I got up and my whole seat was, like, blood-ridden, and I was like, oh, my God. I get, like, the towels and wipe it down, or the paper towels, and then I just go home. I just walk home, do the little twist around.
Oh my God, the twist around with the sweater.
Yes, that is the look.
I feel like that's a staple.
Yes.
If you bleed, like you've done.
We should go to high schools and just give out AIB sweatshirts, like your period sweatshirt. Here you go, wrap it around, because you're not gonna know what you're doing until you're 27 and make a podcast.
Literally. But I think we've all had that moment where like we're like, oh shit, like in class we're like, you feel like and you're like, oh shit.
Like, do I get up? Or do I just make it worse? Like, do I stay seated and make it worse, or do I get up and risk being seen?
And what's worse is that you have the thought of like, am I just a horny teenager right now, or did I just start bleeding?
Okay, all right. That wasn't my thought, but I feel you because I know. And I feel you because either way, either it's about periods or sexuality or anything that hormones, things that you are obviously feeling when we are in our high school, adolescence era, pubescent era. Everyone's like, hey, shut that down. That doesn't exist. You cannot show that. But it's like, please let me express this because I don't know what to do with it, and I'm going to hide it and do some weird-ish.
That's a fact, because like, why didn't we go to school and be like, girl, like, I've been using these pads and they help me.
Right, let's
like,
talk about it, please.
Nobody ever was like, are you an always girl? Oh, no, I don't know any other period products at the top of my, like, your Thinks girl?
There's
no,
like a stay free situation.
Bleeder?
Yeah.
Or like,
don't
nowadays,
be a free bleeder.
Nowadays, I don't think there's any, there might be some high schoolers nowadays. Oh my God, do you think there's high schoolers nowadays that are free bleeders? Because that's an option now. Like,
please explain what a free bleeder is. I know what it is, but please just say it.
So a free bleeder is somebody who doesn't use any period products to soak up their blood. So
I'm sorry, that was very judgment. The look I just gave. Please watch our YouTube judgment to see the face that I just gave. Because please, it is so itchy. But go on.
Yeah. She's been through a journey, people, so she knows what she's talking about. But a free bleeder is somebody who doesn't use, I would say either conventional period products, but it's mostly that you just like let yourself bleed and there's nothing there to catch the blood. There are like panties now that will soak up the blood, and you're still a free bleeder if you use those, because you're just using, but you don't use a pad, you don't use a tampon, you don't use a Diva cup.
I remember that became really popular. I believe it was like a Boston Marathon. There was this one runner who was a free bleeder, but she was bleeding without any type of period product to bring attention to the people in third world countries that did not have access to these period products. So if you're a free bleeder, it's usually not by choice. You don't have access because there's an insane tampon tax is what it's called, where there's a percentage extra price that you have to pay on these period products when it's something that we cannot control without birth control. For the most part.
That's a big fact. Why are not pads free?
Yeah.
Why are tampons not
free? Check the show notes for our sources, but also check the show notes for more information on what you can do about this dang tampon tax. I don't want to pay for this no more.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So yeah, that was my time with pads.
Did you ever try tampons?
Yes, I did. And I don't know. You said that you were really big. I am pretty like, I don't like to say that I'm small or short or anything like that, because I feel there's like something in my head where I'm like, oh, I'm heightest, like I'm big, I'm thick. But anyway, I had like this oversized tampon that I put in. Again, this is high school.
Oh
I don't know, because I knew that my period was a lot. So I was like, and I feel like my period was not heavy enough at the time.
Not aggressive.
So yeah, I just freaking jabbed it up there. And I feel like my period wasn't heavy enough at the time. So it was very like dry and wasn't strong enough, and I feel like it was just sitting in between my lips and just holding it like as if it was awful. And then like sitting down, it kind of like made its way in, and then I did not know how to take it out.
Oh,
so I'm in the stall, missing class, having my anxiety. Like, how do I take it out? I'm trying to yank it. I think I was standing straight up when I tried to yank it out.
Oh my God.
But no.
If you don't know this, do not remove a tampon standing straight up.
No, but like sitting down made it even tighter. But now that I think about it, I think I was just nervous. Like I was just kegling as hard as I could in my youth.
Jesus.
That was awful. That was an awful time. So yeah, that was the time that I tried it. And then so much blood came out after that I was just like, you know what? I feel like I messed something up. I'm not going to do this thing anymore.
Oh my God. I started using tampons because I was going to the beach or the pool or something.
Oh. And I did not trust that. I feel like my period was so heavy that I was like, I'm going to attract sharks.
Yeah, I was kind of scared of that, but I distinctly remember that it was a beach. Because my mom at first was like, you're not using any tampons because you're a virgin and you're a child. Like,
right.
You're not going to stick anything in there. Da, da, da. But then I was going to the beach and then she kind of just like relaxed on the way there. And it was just like, yeah, like, have fun. Like, don't. But then I realized that, which we should probably do a little bit, because I don't know if it happens to every woman, but like my period like almost disappears when I'm at the beach, like by a large body of water.
Yeah.
So like at the beginning of the day, like I had a little bit of discharge and everything, but like I went into the water and like literally by the end of the day, I would say like I probably got there like around 8. I was probably bleeding to like 12, like 10-ish because I had to change my tampon once. And then the rest of the day, like I didn't
There's
bleed.
actually a lot of studies that have to do with that. Like even people who get in the bath, like it kind of sets, like your period slows down, like your body like tightens itself. So actually check our Patreon so we could do more information on that if you want to learn more about the presence of water in your relationship with your period. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Because you also need to increase your intake of water during your period.
Absolutely. Like you're twofold. Losing blood.
Twofold.
Okay.
You drink 8 ounces a day, drink 16 on your period.
That's
like
beautiful.
Literally.
Thank you. Yes, I will do that more. I drink so much water anyway, but I just want to make sure that my period's as easy as it could be.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Lots of water helps with cramps, helps with just like the ease of the flow and everything. But yes, I mean, water is just like the key to life, but especially when you're on your period.
Right on. I want to talk about our flower box that we created. Is that cool?
Yes, we can.
You want to talk about it? What is the flower box?
Our Always in Bloom flower box is a monthly period subscription box that is tailored specifically to you, or to you. It starts off with a personality quiz. You're going to let us know a little bit about you, and then we're going to tailor each box monthly specifically to you of what you need. If you are a bleeder, we'll provide you with period products. What snacks do you like? What activities do you like to do? As well as like new and upcoming information that we encounter regarding our periods and our bodies, because we don't know everything yet. It's 2022 and we're still baffled by the female body.
Yeah, and not a lot of people are talking about it. There's so much information that is out there, but there can be so much more information if we talk about it and progress together. So you can actually check in the show notes the access to our Patreon so that you can get access to our flower boxes, because it's filled with so much information, but also good vibes. Grace mentioned it's for people who bleed and people who do not bleed. If you don't bleed, you definitely want to feel good at least once a month, and why not for 3 to 5 days? These are curated perfect boxes for your time of the month, but in general, time of the month. So check us out on Patreon. We are going to get into our last segment. And that segment is As a Sprout.
As a sprout.
As a sprout. I love this segment.
And I want this to be like a thing. You guys let me know. That's just me. Okay, so as a sprout, what would we tell ourselves something about our, like, what would we tell, advice that we would tell our younger selves?
Yes.
What would you tell, and we're going to make this one specifically about periods. So, like,
of course.
What would you tell them about her period?
The first time that she got her period?
Maybe just, or in general, whichever one you want.
It's been such a long journey. Wow. Because the thing is, I still get my period. Like, it's very much not done, and I'm still learning so much about it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to use Always in Bloom to make me learn more about my period, but also about feeling great on our period. So, hey. Oh, I know. Hey, little Muyi. Thanks for listening to Always in Bloom podcast.
Oh my God.
Let's start there.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for purchasing the podcast.
Thanks for purchasing
Patreon.
But Lil Muyi, please be patient with yourself. Your body is doing exactly what it is meant to. You are beautiful. That was real basic, but she definitely needed to hear that.
It's not, I felt that little Muyi needed to definitely hear that.
You were beautiful. Love you,
What
girl.
would I tell baby Grace?
Not baby.
Yeah, no. Well,
prepubescent
Grace. I would tell her, skip the pill. You're not gonna pay. You're not gonna do that on a daily basis. I would tell her that you're gonna figure it out. Like, and it's not gonna be that deep. And you got this. Like, you're gonna figure out something that works for you and your body and that doesn't make you feel crazy. Because we'll go into it in our birth control episode, but there were some birth controls that were just not. But you're gonna figure it out, and it's perfectly fine. And you are very connected to your womb. I think I'm very connected to my uterus and to my womb. Like, that is like my gut.
Oh.
So to just listen to her and to trust her.
Yes.
And to, step into your womanhood, like, with your whole foot. And wholeheartedly,
with your whole foot,
just like step on it, girl. You got this. Like, don't worry about it. But you got this.
Step on your womanhood. Step into your womanhood, not on it, because that John should be out there. Yeah. I support that. I support baby Grace hearing that. Little Grace hearing that.
You're gonna turn into this, Grace. Like,
hello.
That's just wild. What? Amazing. Beautiful.
Shout out to baby
Love
Grace.
It.
I do have one more question.
Okay.
This is the root. The root. So, just out of curiosity, what do you, Grace Annette, need most during your time of the month?
During my time of the month, so I do cramp a little bit still. So I love heating pads. I like hot things during my time of the month. So, like, hot chocolates. I love teas. I love heating pads. Warming CBD creams. Like, you give me any of those. I like that is. Like, number one, what I need
Warming
during my
CBD
time,
creams,
my time of the month, and then very closely second, chocolate. Oh my God, I'm such a chocolate girl. When I'm in that time of the, like, I want it to be gooey, I want it to be fudgy, I want it to be warm. Also, chocolate. Oh my God, I need chocolate.
That's actually very common. I think it's like 80% of women crave chocolate on their periods.
It's insane. Like, really, like
it's real.
I can feel it in my back teeth. Like, they just want to bite into
any type of chocolate, because there are so many types of chocolate. Like,
so I like it like a warm fudgy situation. So I like a brownie.
Okay. Like Betty Crocker or Ghirardelli.
Good.
Ghirardelli. That's some fancy chocolate.
Ghirardelli.
Okay. Bourgeois time.
I mean, if we're gonna be like real specific, my literal kryptonite is the chocolate brownie from Starbucks. If y'all ever want to send me like an entire tray, I will take it. So literally the Starbucks chocolate brownie is literally $3.49 a brownie. We're not even gonna talk about it, but
that's it. That's it.
That is my perfect brownie in my head. And like a dark chocolate. Like, if it's gonna be like a hard piece of chocolate, I like a hard chocolate. That would be my absolute favorite. What do you need during your time of the month?
I mean, it's funny because it's the same thing that I told Lil Muyi, and I need patience. I need time off from work. Shout out to like the UK who gives you period time off. Okay.
US.
Okay. I just need to think to myself, I need a break. I feel like I run around a lot, and during my period, I feel that I'm running around a lot. It's like, can you sit down? So I need relaxation things like tea, like even like a foot massager thing, warm things, whatever makes me feel cozy and relaxed. That's what I need, because my body is like,
Not the shimmy shake.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. Well, those are good notes because with our flower box, you may be getting some of those things in your flower box because I know that you're subscribed already, which is funny because we are creating these box ourselves. So I will create a personal box for you.
And I'll be creating a personal box for you.
All right.
And then we'll be creating a personal box for you. Because you're going to tell us what you need because you might not want warm, cozy stuff during your period. Maybe you like cold things.
We will figure out how to send you ice cubes if that's what you want.
We will make it happen.
Right
okay?
on.
We are two determined women.
Thank you so much for doing this podcast with me, Grace. I know I said this before, but this has been one of my favorite episodes because it's something that we just like we don't get to talk about. And even though we're friends, we've been friends for so long, but like that's not our like main topic of conversation. Yeah. So let's just bring it to the world.
Exactly. Even though I do think we are like as a friendship, we do talk very openly about a lot of things.
Shout outs.
So like, you know, you've expressed a lot of your period journey with me, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. You know, everybody should be able to cultivate a community in which they are able, or even if it's just one person, but somebody that they could just talk to about these things with. And if you don't have one, you can just follow us on Instagram at AIB Connect and talk to us about it. And I promise you that we will respond.
Absolutely.
We will be your friend. Please tell me every time you get your period.
We are serving as a resource, as a comrade. We just out here talking about it so that we can grow from it. You know what I'm saying?
Internet besties. I promise. Like wholeheartedly and very genuinely, we will be your internet besties. No problem.
Thank you all so much for listening to today's podcast.
Thank you.
As we mentioned before, all of our information, you can follow us on AIB Connect, but our resources and sources that we used in this podcast episode will be located in the show notes. That's that. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Peace.